Barcelona gets up from its knees. Juan Laporta has found a way to solve the problems of the Catalan club. Liverpool continues to rewrite football history. The Scouts destroyed West Ham United with a score of 5-0. Manchester City is making a comeback. The long-awaited victory is burning. The French championship has defeated Cristiano Ronaldo and Real Madrid's loud transfer. We're talking about this and much more today. Friends, this is Dose of Football, and a hot selection of the most interesting news to this hour. Charge your royal likes so that we can work without weekends. As you can see, when the terms of the deal are not met, we are not against taking a break. Well, as usual, following our good tradition, I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. Real Madrid is trying to take a star from Manchester City if the citizens are kicked out of the Premier League. You all know about the saga that is now unfolding behind the scenes of this English grand. The club is already accused of 30 financial violations. If they are proven, Man City faces a severe punishment. According to preliminary information, the citizens are planning to downgrade in class and additionally impose a monetary fine. And what happens to the Grands when they are expelled from the elite league? The question is rhetorical, and all this we could see on the example of Juventus. Many stars left its squad to have the opportunity to perform at the highest level. The example of young Zlatan Ibrahimovic comes to mind, who moved to Inter Milan right after Calciopoli. Due to this, he remains disliked in Turin to this day. Juventus participation will be awaited, as will Manchester City's if their guilt is proven. Someone will stay, but many will want to leave. Real Madrid plans to capitalize on this. As you remember, the team's main defender, Eder Militao, has once again torn his ligaments and is out for the rest of the season. It's hard to deny that the player's resilience is becoming systematic. This means we need to sign a new footballer to replace him. There were rumors before that Real Madrid is eyeing Virgil van Dijk, whose contract expires this summer. Honestly, the Van Dijk-Rudiger pair instills fear. But there was also information about the transfer of Jorginho. Releva reports that the club seeks a player with a profile similar to Eder Militao. That is, he should be young, fast, strong, and easily win duels, including aerial ones. Ideally, a left-footed player is needed, or a player who can adapt to playing closer to the left flank. They essentially described Guardiola, who could potentially play as a fullback. The Real Madrid management, in fact, understands this perfectly well. But it also knows that Horvat will cost an astronomical amount of money if they make a direct inquiry to Man City. The citizens themselves paid nearly 100 million euros for him. That's why the citizens are waiting for the court's decision. If Man City gets kicked out of the Premier League, Real will be one of the first to take advantage of the situation. Moreover, the president of the citizens may pull some strings and somehow influence the final verdict. He has enough influence in the football world, and he can use it for the sake of his favorite club. The theory, of course, is pulled out of thin air. But who knows what's going on behind the scenes of European grandees? The Manchester City management wants to rectify the festering situation by inviting a couple of star players. Jude Bellingham is on the short list of the garage, one of the strongest footballers of our time. There was information that they are ready to offer Real in the region of 200 million euros. Does the Madrid club need this? I doubt it. The transfer is too low profitability compared to the prospect of losing such a high-class player. Real itself spent more than 100 million on the purchase from Bellingham, paying this amount to Borussia Dortmund. Therefore, an income of about 80 million is unlikely to attract Florentino Perez. But selling Vinicius to Saudi Arabia for $500 million is a different conversation. Here one can consider the possibility of a transfer. But Bellingham could still end up in Manchester. True, not Jude and not in City. There is information that the city's neighbors are interested in buying Job Bellingham, who is currently playing for Sunderland. Jim Redcliffe's arrival has slightly altered the development trajectory of the Red Ideals. The British billionaire is already thinking about building a new stadium, while Old Trafford has not fully passed into the possession of the Rat. He also cut costs and made the functionaries think more about reducing club expenses. In addition to everything else, Jim Ratcliffe is planning to focus on young players in Manchester United's transfer policy. He wants the club to stop spending tens of millions on buying footballers like Rafael Varane and Casemiro. The new strategy will be based on prospective players who can be brought up to an elite level over the counted years. This is exactly why Ruben Amorim was invited. Mew is planning to let Jude Bellingham's younger brother go this summer. Club scouts have been tracking his progress for a long time, and he has impressed them. This season, Jobs played 20 matches with 4 goals and 3 assists. His 2 goals in the games against Norwich and Swansea turned out to be the winning ones. Sunderland, by the way, has good prospects to get into the Premier League at the end of this season. The team is already firmly entrenched in the zone that gives the right to fight for the last journey to the elite of English football. But the gap between the second place is not so big, so Sunderland had a chance to get into the Premier League directly. As a result, next season, Joe Bellingham might already be playing against Sunderland. Cristiano Ronaldo recently criticized French football, asserting that the Saudi League is superior to Ligue 1. To an extent, I can see why the Portuguese player made these remarks. The French championship lacks any real competition, and rarely, conditionally speaking, once in 4 seasons, a new champion appears there. But the hegemon of the tournament remains a passenger. After the arrival of the Qatari sheikhs, the Capital Grand became the champion of the league 10 times. Only twice other teams took the first place. Once it was Monaco with young Fabinho, Lamar, and of course, Kylian Mbappe. The experienced Radamel Falcao was leading this orchestra. And another champion was Lille, just 1 point ahead of Paris Saint-Germain. What level of championship can we talk about when there is no competition? But it's hard to agree with the words about the superiority of the Saudi League. In terms of the quality of football, Europe is far ahead of the rest of the planet. But that's all lyrics. Now, let me tell you how the Ligue 1 leadership humiliated Cristiano Ronaldo after his fall. To understand the genius, remember the Portuguese words. Is the Premier League stronger than Ligue 1? Of course, and I say this not because I play there. I don't care what people think about this. But it will be enough for them to just go there and play under those conditions to be convinced that I'm right, to run across the field in 38-degree heat several times. And I'll see how they feel, said the falling Al Nasra. And it seems did it in vain. The press service of the French championship found the most powerful response, capable of untangling the war between Cristiano and the Ligue 1 leadership. Now you should put aside all your business and look at the screens of your devices, because the press service has published a photo of the most radiant superhero Ronaldo with the World Cup and signed it Messi plays at a temperature of 38 degrees. And here's the result. Now, the most important football trophies are in his collection. The Argentine's performance at the Paris Grand at that very moment made the answer all the more powerful. In general, it's now interesting to see what Ronaldo will say next. The Portuguese should not ignore such a harsh provocation. We're settling in, and with friends, popcorn, and pleasure, we watch. Barca's management has taken a tough stance on Frankie de Jong. The club bosses were not pleased with how the Dutchman performed under the new coach, and now consequences are expected for him. According to the Catalan media, he now has 3 options. The first is to extend the contract on reduced terms. The second is to move to another club. And the third is to sit on the bench until the end of the agreement with Barcelona. The bosses have decided to seriously tackle the reduction of the wage bill and the restoration of order in the club's finances. And Frank has been pushing for a reduction for a long time. He was given many chances to prove himself, but since the transition, he has never managed to become the new Iniesta. It seems more like he's turning into the new Hazard, but only in Catalan colors. Recently, many clubs have been interested in the Dutchman. Among them were good European teams with prospects of fighting for trophies. Such giants as Manchester United, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern were mentioned. But Frankie is reluctant to move, knowing he would have to make financial sacrifices. And he really likes living on 30 million euros a year, and he's not agreeing to less. So, it means that the Dutchman will stay on the bench until the end of his contract with Barcelona. I disagree. A potential opportunity may soon satisfy the footballer financially. The footballer's agent has several offers from Saudi Arabia on the table, which could prompt the Dutchman to buy the next ticket to Riyadh. Local clubs are preparing to offer De Jong a 3-year contract with a salary of 15 million euros after tax. That is roughly what he makes in Barcelona. Some people closely associated with Saudi Arabian football are already confident in the transfer of the Dutchman. Barcelona will also receive compensation. According to the source, it will be significantly less than 50 million. But the Catalans don't need much, just to free up the payroll and finally return to the one-to-one rule, so that there are no more such situations as with Dani Olmo. As a result of this transfer, everyone will be in the win. De Jong will be able to earn huge money, kicking the ball on another continent. Barcelona will unload its finances, and Saudi football will again get a player with a big European name, which will further strengthen the brand of Saudi Arabia before the upcoming World Cup. Joan Laporta has found a way to solve the problem with Dani Olmo's contract, and do it in time. For those who watched yesterday's episode on Parakod, this information will not be news. But then everything was foggy, just one of the versions of how Joan Laporta can fix the situation. Now, the data is practically official. All the main Catalan media have already written that the president of Barcelona has spun again. So, what are we talking about? Joan Laporta is planning to activate another lever with the sale of seats at the renovated Camp Nou in the near future. But Dani Olmo's situation forced him to speed up events. The president quickly agreed with Arab companies on the sale of assets for 100 million euros. According to Marca Portal, this will be enough to register Dani Olmo and Pau Victor at the same time. The agreement has already been reached. Now, we just wait for the transaction to finish, and then we can pop the champagne. The Catalan president is receiving online praise. The fans are ecstatic. Some even call him the best leader in football history. But I wouldn't rush with loud claims. Yes, it's quite possible that the reach is enough to register all the problematic footballers, and even for the return of the one-to-one rule. However, Barcelona is losing a significant sum on his rushed activation. Such an asset, like a place in the Catalans' lodge, was previously valued at 20 million euros. If the deal had been concluded gradually, as it should have been, the president of Barcelona could have earned twice as much. But a critical blow to his reputation forced Laporta to act quickly, which is why the Catalans simply do not count on future revenues. In fact, it's a sad situation for such a big club. If all this had happened quietly, there might not have been such a negative background. But the president of the Catalans talks a lot. He had to promise that the renovated Camp Nou would open for Barcelona's anniversary. It seems like no one pulled him up for his language. Everyone understood perfectly well what a stadium reconstruction is and how resource-intensive the process is. But Joan Laporta and his colleagues promised. They said, "Ask me a question." They even thought about and planned to include potential revenues from the new stadium in the budget. But as it often happens with political populists, they did not keep their promise. Sergio Ramos, being a legendary Spanish defender, has been without a club for more than half a year now. This period has become a serious test for the multiple-time champion of Spain, Europe, and the world. In the summer of 2024, Ramos hoped to extend his contract with Sevilla, where he returned after many years of staying in Real Madrid. However, the management of the Andalusian club, despite all the player's dedication, decided not to offer him a new agreement. The reasons for such a decision remain behind the scenes. But for Ramos, this came as an unexpected blow. Since then, he has actively sought opportunities to further his career. The Spaniard dreamed of staying in Europe to perform at a high level again and possibly to participate in the Champions League. However, his hopes were not realized. Real Madrid, with which the best years of Ramos's career are associated, did not express interest in his return. Juventus, which for a long time was considered a potential contender for his signature, preferred younger players, despite problems in defense. South American clubs and Saudi Arabian teams also made attempts to negotiate with the legend, offering substantial financial conditions. But Ramos remained unyielding. He wanted to play only in Europe, or at least in Major League Soccer. Against the backdrop of a lack of offers, the media increasingly voices assumptions about the end of his professional career. For a player who has been in the spotlight all his life, this scenario can become a difficult decision. However, it is not excluded that during these months without football, Ramos found joy in life beyond the field. Without daily training, a tough schedule, and constant flights, he probably began to appreciate another side of life. Now, everything depends on the January transfer window. Only a truly attractive offer can convince the Spaniard to return to the field. His agent is working on finding a suitable option. But if nothing changes, Ramos may leave football. The end of his career will be the end of an era. But knowing Sergio's character, one can assume that he will want to leave a bright, memorable mark in his history. Liverpool continues to put on a real show this season, confidently heading towards their second title in the modern English Premier League. Arne Slot's team proves time and again that they are a formidable force that no competitor can stand against. This time, West Ham found themselves under the Merseyside steamroller, who, it seemed, simply didn't have time to understand what happened, losing with a crushing score of 5-0. And of course, the main star of this show was Mohamed Salah once again. The Egyptian continues to rewrite history, becoming the first player in the Premier League who scored a goal plus an assist in 8 matches of one season. And this is even before the arrival of the new year. In the match against West Ham, he not only scored a precise strike, but also assisted his partner twice, once again reminding why he is considered one of the best players of the present. If Salah continues at the same pace, he will set a record that is unlikely to ever be surpassed. Watching Liverpool play this season is a real pleasure. Well, if you missed this match, be sure to check out our Telegram channel. There you will find not only the best moments of this rout, but also analysis, memes, and current football news that will make you love our favorite game even more. Look for the channel link in the description or in the pinned comment. And while Salah is breaking one record after another Liverpool leader, Trent Alexander-Arnold, literally made the Spanish media choke. Against the backdrop of rumors about his possible move to Real Madrid, Trent distinguished himself with an important goal, and many took his celebration as a symbol of loyalty to the club. Journalists can say as much as they like, but the defender clearly dismissed the rumors. These are just rumors, and they in no way affect his intentions. It seems that a new contract for him is just a matter of time. The Madrid media can keep speculating, but it won't change anything. But not everything is so rosy in the Merseyside kingdom. Mohamed Salah's future remains uncertain. The Egyptian, despite his phenomenal game, admitted that the contract extension negotiations have hit a dead end. We are far from an extension. I don't want to spread rumors, but the situation remains unchanged. Right now, I'm focused on helping the team win the Premier League, he said after the match. And here you might wonder, is Liverpool risking losing their main star? Salah is in such stunning form that his departure seems unthinkable. However, unfortunately, the Egyptian has made it clear that he is not ready to back down. Fans can only hope that the club's management will find a way to keep him. In any case, this season is already approaching to become historic for Liverpool. The team shows not only strength, but also a style that makes all football fans follow their performances. And who knows, maybe this Liverpool will conquer the football world again. The 18th round match of Serie A between Juventus and Fiorentina ended with a score of 2-2. However, the main event of the game was not the result, but a shocking incident related to Russian insults directed at Dusan Vlahovic. This episode once again reminded the entire football world that the problem of discrimination in sports remains a painful reality. The game began against the backdrop of a scandal. The referee had to halt the game in the 6th minute. Fiorentina fans from the stands allowed themselves Russian shouts at Vlahovic, who once defended the colors of their team. The Serbian forward moved to Juventus in 2022 year, and it seems Fiorentina fans still can't forgive him for this step. After the announcement about the stadium about the inadmissibility of such actions, the meeting was resumed. But the sediment from what happened remained. Despite the scandal, the teams put on a bright match. Juventus opened the scoring in the 20th minute thanks to a goal by Kefren Thuram. The young midfielder continues to impress with his productivity, becoming one of the key figures in the Turin team. But already in the 38th minute, Fiorentina equalized the score. Moise Kean excelled in the second half, leading to the hosts' success. Thuram formed a double in the 48th minute, putting Jovi ahead. However, the team couldn't hold on to the victory. On the 87th minute, Ricardo Sotel pulled a draw for the guests, depriving Juventus of the much-needed 3 points. For the Turin team, this is already the 6th draw in the last 10 matches, which threatens their plans to get into the Champions League zone. With such results, Juventus continues to flounder, missing important opportunities at key moments of the season. Russian insults towards Vlahovic became another alarming signal. This incident is far from being the only case in modern football. Similar instances of discrimination regularly occur both in Italy and beyond its borders. Perhaps it's time to involve those who speak out against racism louder than anyone else in the fight against this problem. For example, Vinicius Jr., who has already shown more than once how to stand up to such phenomena. Who knows? Maybe it would have been worth sending him to Juventus for half a year to extinguish this Serie A mel. It seems that Paulo Fonseca's pressure has reached its limit. The Italian press asserts that the Milan management has already made a decision to change the coach, although no official statements have been made yet. Despite the draw in the match against Roma, rumors about the imminent dismissal of the Portuguese are only intensifying. This result not only did not strengthen Fonseca's position, but also added fuel to the fire. Even a hypothetical victory over Roma could not guarantee the Portuguese a place on the coaching bridge, but it did not happen. The match ended in a draw. Moreover, at the end of the game, Roma could have won, but did not realize several dangerous moments. Against this background, Fonseca's nerves gave out. In the first half, he received a warning for arguing with the referee, and soon he got a second card for an emotional protest caused by the referee's refusal to award a penalty. The dismissal of the head coach underlines the overall tension in the club. The management's actions underscore the overall tension in the club. Milan's management is unhappy not only with the results, but also with the team's style of play. The last 4 league matches have resulted in only 1 victory against the outsider Verona. The rest of the meetings ended in point losses, which seriously affected the team's tournament position. Even Milan's attacking game, which used to be his strong side, raises questions. The team inflicts many strikes, but most of them are beyond the penalty area, and without a real threat. Given this context, Italian media are already discussing potential replacements for Fonseca. Sergio Conceição, who left Porto in the summer, is named as the main contender. Conceição has a reputation as a strong tactician, but his possible appointment is drawing mixed reviews. Many doubt that he can stabilize the situation in Milan, considering the club's chaotic decision-making. Milan's problems seem to be deeper than just choosing a coach. The lack of a clear strategy, personnel reshuffles, and uncertainty in team development all negatively affect the results. Even if Fonseca leaves his post, it's unlikely to be a cure-all for the club. Meanwhile, the fan experts are waiting for the official confirmation of the coach change. I hope that Milan can overcome this crisis. Manchester City has finally won the long-awaited victory. Lately, the citizens are not pleasing their fans with positive results. If you look at the played matches, you can see the statistics of the outsider who is claiming to be knocked out. Then you look, and this is one of the best clubs of modern times under the leadership of the best coach. I even want to announce what results preceded the meeting with Leicester. A goalless draw with Crystal Palace, a defeat in the Champions League from Juventus, a sensational defeat in the Manchester Derby, earned in the last minutes, 0 points in matches with Aston Villa, and an unconvincing draw against Everton. In other words, out of 15 possible points, Manchester City earned only 2 points. This in no way correlates with the high expectations of recent years. This is a real crisis that needs to be resolved. In the match against Leicester, Man City may have begun their return to form. The citizens defeated Leicester away with a score of 2-0. However, their game wasn't convincing. Leicester players created enough moments to at least draw, and with a proper course of events, to win this match. Unfortunately, they were unlucky with the implementation. Only Jamie Vardy failed to take advantage of 3 good moments. Red Bull didn't seem to help him yesterday. Luck was on the side of the citizens, allowing them to end this year on a good note. Now it's up to the management and the team's head coach. The transfer window opens in a couple of days, and journalists didn't miss the opportunity to ask Guardiola about the club's upcoming plans. Kevin De Bruyne is back, but we need players in the center and defense. Problems with the wing and central defenders complicate the task. When all is well, we are our old team again. But due to the absence of key players, this becomes difficult. We need help in the defensive zone and the center of defense. The market is expensive and complex, so let's see what the club can do, said Guardiola. Even in this interview, it's noticeable that the coach seems lost. It's hard to look at his face when Man City can't achieve good results. But even after victories, the mood of the Catalan doesn't change much. Maybe he needs some help from professional specialists himself. But he's already a grown boy and should figure out what he needs without my advice. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching and for subscribing to the channel. Friends, don't forget that we have, first of all, Telegram, and secondly, I personally have Instagram. There, of course, is not very interesting, but if someone wants to know something about my personal life, all the links are in the description and in the pinned comment. Well, my name is Kirill Kost, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house and Johanga, friends.